I just wanted to thank God for his faithfulness and his favor in my life, academically. Every aspect of my life has just been a present help. I just want to thank him. So, end of year 9, there were applications to become prefects in school. I had applied and I was thinking, you know, I had all the qualifications, like I had a couple, not many. I had 1-2 teachers that were willing to put a referral in for me. So I'd applied, I went through all the stages and I was like, most likely I'm gonna get it. So the day comes around where they're telling people whether they're going or not, and I haven't heard anything. By the end of the day, I go to my head of year and he says, I didn't see your name on the list, so it's like you didn't get it. And if I'm honest, I was really, really upset. I asked my mum, that day I cried when I got home. And I sulked about it for a little while, and I remember it was rehearsal that day. I'm not sure, Mama, if you remember, but I came into your office and I told you what happened. Yeah, and then you told me that, oh, it's a lot of responsibility. But one thing that stuck out for me is you said it was a blessing in disguise. And in that moment in time, I was thinking, not too sure how that could be possible, but, you know, we move. So I sulked for a little while, and then after a while, I was meditating on it, and I just allowed God to work through me and in me to make me a better person, you know, because maybe there were reasons I didn't get it, because there were aspects of my character or my qualifications that hadn't been perfected yet. So I was praying, allowing God to work through me and in me. So going into year 10, I can't even explain it. Just qualifications and titles that I never knew I'd have were dropping into my lap, that if I'm honest, I wasn't thinking about getting it or applying for it, but it was given to me. I was given gospel choir president, school council member, Jack Petrie regional finalist champion, sports house captain, all in the span of like 4 or 5 months. And I remember I was in the kitchen with my mum and I was talking to her. I was like, you know, it's crazy that I was so hung up on this prefect thing after a while that I didn't realize that God intended so much more for me than something like that. That prefect is just 2 small potatoes, you know. You need to aim higher, and God was blessing me with so much more. And I was telling her that it's crazy how God works, and she was agreeing with me. And then there was a staff inset day, right? We had a mass, and they had asked gospel choir to sing, and I wasn't going to lead it because the person that was actually in charge of gospel choir was meant to, but then he fell sick that day, so I had to go on the inset day and lead the choir. So I did all of that. I led the choir and everything, and then towards the end, my head teacher comes up, stands on the podium, and then she says that, oh, she's thanking everyone for coming out, and then she says, we want to thank a particular student. She goes on, talk about dedication and everything, and then when it clicked was that she said, oh, and she led gospel choir this morning with us, and I was so confused. I looked at my friends, they were smirking at me. I looked at my teachers, they were smirking at me. I was like, what's going on? And then I looked back at her and I realized she had a prefect tie in her hand. Wow. And then she called out my name. She said, Cherise. I verbally said pardon because I was so confused. She said, Cherise, I'd like to do what we should have done a long time ago and make you a prefect. And in that moment, because I remember there was a special Wednesday service, and Bishop, we said we should come expectant, you know, with prayers that whatever we want shall be answered. I remember I was lying on the floor on this stage and I was praying for prefect. I don't know why, but I was praying for prefect, and that God will, because a position was open, and I said that the people that were in charge of filling that position, I prayed that they'll be unsettled until they find the right person, and that right person was me. And then I go there, and then she said that there was a talent show the day before, right? And this girl was crying because people were laughing at her during her performance. And then a teacher brought her to me, and I sat her down and I said, if you give the people that were laughing at you the microphone to do what you did, they wouldn't be able to do it. And I was encouraging her, and, you know, asked her, do you want a hug? She said, yeah, sure. I gave her a hug. And little did I know, the head of prefects, my head teacher, my head of year were watching me throughout that time. I didn't know they were there. And then the next day, that was the inset days, when they said, we saw what you did, and we realized that, you know, we made a mistake when we didn't pick you the first time. And the funny thing is, not only was I made prefect, I was made a special prefect, head of all of the prefects. And I remember just thanking God. And then when I was leaving, I was thinking that, you know, the way God works is crazy, like divine timing, because he knew if he'd given it to me when I wanted it, I wouldn't have worked for all the other things I had. And the funny thing is, not only did he give me what I wanted, he gave me that times 2. And once I'd received prefect, everything was going well, everything was going great. And then there were applications to become head girl. And when I didn't get prefect in year 9, the one thing I was chasing after was head girl. I was like, I'm gonna become head girl. I don't care what they say. They said it's only for prefects. I don't care. I'm gonna get it. But then I think I kind of forgot about that, and I wasn't taking it into prayer that much. I prayed about it once or twice, but I think God sees the desires of my heart and he knows what I want. So going into year 11, people are saying, oh, apply applications for head girl, and I'm thinking, do I really want to do that though? Because I have so many titles and all that type of stuff. And even other people were telling me that I should fair opportunity for everyone, all that type of stuff. And then one of my mentors in school, she sat me down. She got so angry with me because I was refusing to apply, and she said, you shouldn't listen to those people because they didn't identify that there's no such thing as fair opportunity, because they're just as capable as, you know, doing the things you've done. It's just that they didn't identify it and you did. So I went home, I was writing my application and I was doubting again, and then something dropped into my heart that the only difference between me and those people is the favor of God. That's right. Because I could have all the qualifications, I could have everything, apply, and they still wouldn't pick me. But what makes you distinct, what gives you that cutting edge, is the favor of God. And if I have these privileges, I might as well use it to my advantage. So I'm writing the application, and then something pops into my head. It was towards the end of summer. I think it was a Wednesday service, and Bishop, you were saying that, you know, you're gonna in your academics, in your work life, you're gonna be going higher, double, you know, receiving things you never thought you'd receive. And I was sitting there thinking, like, I already have all these things. I'm not sure how much more I can, like, how higher I could go. And then as soon as I thought that, you said, and if you think you've reached your limit, you know, there's a higher place for you. You don't even know it yet. That popped into my heart in that moment when I was writing my application, and then everything clicked into place that I thought prefect was the end of my story, but God had intended so much more for me. There was so much more that he wanted me to do, because like I said in the beginning of year 10, I wanted to become head girl. So in that moment I was like, I have to do this, I have to apply. So I sent forth my application. I've gone through all the processes. Now this Thursday, it was the last day of when we'd find out who got it. So we're standing there, all lining up, all waiting. It's left with me and my friend, right? And he calls my name, heart drops. I say, listen, God, what you will is what you will. You know, you told me I'd get it, so I shouldn't fear, I shouldn't be scared, I should have confidence. So I got up there, he's dilly-dallying, he's saying, you know, we had to give some people good news, had to give some people bad news, and he's like, and then he's like, but we'd love to offer you the position of head girl. In that moment, all I said was just, thank you, Jesus. I was like, and I'd love to take it. And they said what made it distinct for them was the day before there was opening evening. I wasn't at that Wednesday service because of opening evening, and they'd asked me to do a speech. And then it was late notice, it was like a week before. So I was kind of like, I was thinking, I don't think I can do this, you know, assessment week is coming up. I don't think I can do this, but something was pushing me, just write the application, write the speech. So I wrote it, I performed it. At that point in time when I was performing it, the head of prefects, head of year, all the SLT members, they were there. And then when he told me on Thursday what had made it distinct, because they were debating over me and another girl, they said what made it distinct was that speech you did yesterday. That, you know, when you did that, it just proved to us that you had all the qualities that we wanted for this position and for this role. And then, oh my days. I just want to thank God for his faithfulness and his mercy. I want to use this to encourage anyone. When God doesn't give you something at a time that you want it, it's not because he doesn't want you to be the best version of yourself. Yeah, he's doing it because there's so much more in store for you. And, you know, in the end, you might end up getting what you wanted, but 10 times more than what you even expected it would be. So I just want to give God thanks.